How's it going, everybody? It is Sandwich Pants here today, and I got some stuff to go over. I gotta talk. I gotta rant. Gotta ramble a bit, because I'm not very happy. I'm really not. Uh, so many things fucking happened today. So, it is absolutely shitty outside. The roads are ice, and a rear wheel vehicle, like a rear wheel drive vehicle, will not move around very well in this weather. So I had to work yesterday, and I worked today. We were told not to show up until closer to 9, so we did. I was told to pull my stuff to get ready to load, go get gas, and then come back, and by the time I got back, the other truck should have moved away from the dock. Okay, I did these things. I get back, my boss is there, and he comes screaming. I'm like, I'm not going to get into it too much with specifics or anything, but the point is, it is a form of abuse, verbally. It is. We can acknowledge this. Now, why would that be verbal abuse? Well, one, I was doing the things I was told to do and got yelled at for it. That's pretty fucked up. For two, under capitalism, especially without a federal jobs guarantee, if I try and say anything back, I can be fired. It's a thing. It's a right to work state. They don't even have to give it, like, no reason has to be given at all. None. So, right to work is a load of shit. It needs to be removed. And that applies into how capitalism is exploitative. Because not only do they extract your fucking labor, they can, with pretty much impunity, damage your psyche. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm like traumatized from this. I'm more just very angry. But I have been yelled at a lot in my life. And so my response to that is a lot different than somebody who may not be as resilient to that kind of thing. If somebody just yells at me, I get mad and want to punch him in the neck. That's I'm a lot more restrained than this, but it is the first that like it's the first thought that comes into my mind. Is what's the best way to shut this person up? Well, if I punch them in the mouth, they'll shut up, but they might swing back. But if I punch them in the neck, they're not swinging back. But I don't do it. I just think about it. Anyways, that is a form of abuse, and being able to, with almost no repercussions, abuse an employee, because this happens way worse at many other places. Like, way worse. And way more frequently. Way more frequently. I don't really have to deal with that on a regular basis, at least. But the fact that that can happen and it's just considered standard business fare is exploitative because, again, if you talk back, you can be fired. Just fuck you. You're fired. If you badmouth anybody, you can be fired. If you lose your job, you're kind of fucked. So you either take the verbal abuse to try and maintain your job because you have to have it, or you risk your livelihood and your ability to survive to be able to stand up for yourself. That's a thing. Now, there is some anecdotes where somebody stood up to their boss, but that's not super common. I'm receiving a phone call, so give me a moment. Okay, I'm expecting a call back, but yeah, it was my cousin. It was important. All right, don't need that. This is here for. So, labor exploitation, abuse. See how those tie in together? Because you kind of have to either take it or lose your livelihood in most circumstances, on average. In a vast majority of cases, I'd say. You either just take getting yelled at and go cry in a walk-in or something, or, get angry, depending on how you deal with being screamed at for literally doing what you were told to do, especially. It depends. It depends. See, can I? I don't have any Twitch emotes. Should I stream on Twitch? I don't know. Where is it? No, I don't know. Fuck it. So, that's kind of what we're dealing with here. The overlap, the big overlap between labor exploitation and verbal abuse. Hopefully that's a pretty clear correlation there, because verbal abuse and having to take it is exploitative. So hopefully we can deal with that. There's literally no reason to go screaming at employees. Unless it's, oh my god, there's a fire, fucking run. Get out of here. Because coming in and just screaming at an employee, again, it's abusive verbally and can potentially be emotionally traumatizing. But also, you gotta think, sometimes you're not a fighter and you go screaming at a fucking employee and he just drops you. So you went screaming at somebody and you just got your ass beat for it. I mean, yeah, you can fire that guy, but he obviously didn't give a fuck if you could fire him. People don't leave jobs, they leave shitty employers. Now, the common phrase is like, I fucking hated that job. But in general, it's usually not the job that does it, except for people at Subway. Because they only give you yourself in a lot of them. So it's not that you could hate the employer, really. I mean, sometimes you can, because if the employer is a dick, but, whatever. But in general, yeah, people don't leave people don't leave jobs, they leave employers. Because the employer made them feel unwanted, abused, uh, it, what is it? I don't remember the word I was looking for. Bad at doing your thing, unproductive, inefficient. Yeah. So, like, all I'm saying is we've got to work on that kind of thing. And that's a call to employers, because employees don't deserve to be screamed at. And if you do come screaming at them, you might want to apologize and reflect, especially if they try and answer your questions. And in response to that, when the question is especially like, why did you do this? And your answer is, I was told to by this person. When the response is just no, think about that for a second. The person higher up than the person you're screaming at was told them to do something, and your response is just no. What are they supposed to do? Not listen to their supervisor? Just completely disregard what the guy says? No, not at all. He listens to the supervisor and does what he's supposed to do according to what the supervisor tells him to do. Or her. Them. So, I only say the gendered ones because that's my particular situation. But No. Like, you listen to the supervisor. And when they tell you to do something, as long as it makes sense within the job, you do it. And in my case, it made fucking sense. Like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. It is not at all my fault that our parking lot is ice and my truck just slid until we managed to dig out tires enough that I could get a little bit of traction to get some movement. That took 20 minutes. So, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. That's kind of my little rant about it. I didn't want to go too hard ranting about my situation. Maybe eventually people will watch me and they'll be like, yo, this guy's actually kind of not completely dumb. He has some points. Cause I'm I'm not smart. But if I'm pointing out flaws that are pretty obvious in somebody else's shit, that should make you reflect a little bit on your shit. If you personally think that I'm an idiot and I'm able to easily critique something that you say, a policy position or something, some advocacy point you're pushing for, and I'm able to point out where I think you're wrong on something and where I think you could be right, maybe reevaluate your position instead of just dismissing it because I'm quote unquote an idiot or quote unquote a shit lib. I get called that one a lot. Specifically because I'm like, bro, Lennon is not the smartest. Uh, Go ahead and explain, Najura. Elaborate for me, my friend. I'll wait. Did you come because I posted on Twitter and said come roast me? Anyways, yeah, let's fucking continue. Capitalism is exploitative and can incorporate abuse quite easily. So, uh, we need to get rid of it. Oh, you didn't come from Twitter. Okay, well, elaborate then. Come on. No, nothing. No. Okay. Makes claim, can't back it up. Common conservative tactic. Let's go over this real quick.
Just 5 years ago, it was hard to imagine socialists winning elections in America. It's the United States, the global heart of capitalism. For a long time, socialism was a dirty word. Republicans called everyone from Harry Truman.
Nope. Capitalism didn't, quote unquote, win the Cold War. The United States won the Cold War, which was against the USSR. Cuba is actually extraordinarily successful as far as, maintaining human happiness and providing for their citizens. They do a better job at that than the United States does. So by my metrics, no. Because Cuba provides for its citizens guaranteed housing and food at the very least. And the United States don't fucking do that. We don't. That's why we have a massive homeless problem. Capitalism is shit at efficiency. You know how long it took for capitalism to reach the stage that it's at? It took like 200 fucking years. Meanwhile, not that I like the USSR, and I don't even think that they're actually like communist, because there has never been a quote-unquote communist state. That's an oxymoron. Yes, there's a distinction. Are you brain dead? Oh, you're a conservative, so yeah, you kind of are. Jesus fucking Christ. Capitalism is not. Well, the metrics that a country is supposed to be measured by are how they provide for their citizens, and Cuba does a better job at that than the United States does. So it's not just my metrics, it's the general metrics of academics. So yeah. Fucking idiot. Jesus. Okay. Anyways, capitalism took fucking 200 years to reach the point where it's at, to where it's as quote-unquote efficient as it is. It took the USSR 30 years to reach the same fucking level. It took China 30 years to reach the same level. Even with US interference. Before the USSR fell, they built their entire fucking economy from a feudal peasant economy to one that can compete on the global stage against the quote-unquote strongest capitalist nation that has ever existed. So, there's that. Cuba provides for its citizens better. Hell, the USSR provided for its citizens better. So, no. Capitalism is not more efficient. It is not more productive. It does not, in any way, provide for its citizens better than a socialist country. And the funny part is, China and the USSR aren't even actually like socialist. They had some socialistic elements, but they were kind of just authoritarian. No. No, not at all. That, my friend, is a lie. Okay, it only goes back to 1952 on here, where they were still communist. Until right around here. Not much of a change from here to there. I'll just go to the 1980. Okay, that's Vox. Where did I go? Because no, before the oh my god, before the fucking October Revolution, they were a feudal peasant society that had almost no fucking GDP. They had no productivity really. They didn't even really have an economy. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my god, they were not on track for growth. They were stagnant as fuck for like 100 years. What I'm seeing here is, beginning in 1928, the course of the economy of the Soviet Union was guided by a series of 5-year plans. So, they started to grow. By the 1950s, the Soviet Union had rapidly evolved from a mainly agrarian society into a major industrial power. Fucking dipshit. I've gone through all of this before. Not only that, but, I listen to some PhD academics, economists and shit, and historians as well, who go over it, and they also confirm this. That's the consensus of academia. You're literally just arguing against facts and statistics and data and the shit that is, actually empirically true. Jesus Christ.
To Bill Clinton, a socialist. In a few short years, everything has changed. A lifelong Democratic socialist almost became the Democratic presidential nominee twice. Polls show socialism is soaring in popularity, and a huge number of young socialist people of color are getting elected to office. Socialists like Jamal Bowman in New York and Cori Bush in Missouri are defeating incumbent congresspeople. Black and brown working class socialists are winning seats in state legislatures and city councils. And the biggest name in the Democratic...
No, it wouldn't have. Not at the same rate. Not in the same fucking way. I mean, the Industrial Revolution affected all countries in a decent manner, but it would not have done the same fucking thing in the same way. Jesus Christ. It was a peasant agrarian society. Do you know what a feudal society is? You might want to start there before you start coming in here with this.
Democratic Party is a Latina socialist from the Bronx. If you're excited about creating a society that works for everyone, you might be inspired by socialist big victories in 2018 and 2020. And you might be wondering if you too can become a voice for your community. That's what I'm here to talk about. I teach math at a middle school in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. I'm an activist and a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. And in 2020, I became the first black gay man to be elected a state senator in New York. It wasn't easy. In the Democratic primary, I ran against a state assembly person who was endorsed by the incumbent. I was opposed by the local political machine, but in the end, we won with 58% of the vote. It took a lot of hard work, but we won. And I want to help you do the same thing. So here are some things to consider if you want to run for office as a socialist. First, know why you're running for office. Most people who run for office, either Democrat or Republican, run because they have a big ego or they want a career in politics, and it's easy to feel like they're the ones who belong in office. But socialists have a different approach. Socialism stresses community and solidarity. You can run for office to help people in your community, people you know, people you encounter every day at work or in the neighborhood. In my class, I had one girl who was tired all the time. And when I checked in, it was because she was up late because she had to sleep at her grandma's house. It was obvious she didn't have a secure place to sleep every night. How could she learn when she didn't have her basic needs met? Another student of mine was struggling and then one day just stopped showing up. A few days later, I got an email from his mom saying they had to move to Long Island because they were evicted. I ran for office because of experiences like these. I ran to help people like my students and their families. I knew what our system was doing to people.
Yeah, it is an absolute problem. People shouldn't... Okay. Again, under capitalism, more exploitation. Landlords. Majorly exploitative. Because they're just a middleman between a person and a house that they have to pay with not a chance, if you're renting, to own that fucking house. Now, do you realize the state that Russia was in before the revolution? The 1917 revolution? Besides, okay, check this shit. I'll grant you this, even though I'm pretty sure that that's factually incorrect. After 1917, after the October Revolution, Russia engaged in World War I, World War II, 2 civil wars during the time of the socialist building, the Communist Party taking power and enacting their 5-year plans. Even under those circumstances, the USSR grew at 150 times the rate it would have under the fucking feudal lord, under the Tsar. Because if he failed to industrialize Russia because of a war, he would have 100% failed to industrialize under multiple civil wars as well. And yet, the USSR fucking did it. Because it was better. Not good. I don't like the USSR. They were authoritarian, and that's bad. Oh my fucking god. Source on what? The fact that they grew? That's empirical. They grew way faster under fucking Lenin and Stalin than they did under Alexander. Or Nicholas. Hell, under Nicholas they started declining. That's part of the reason that they did the revolution. Because the conditions of the workers were fucking ass poor. They weren't making any money. Jesus fuck. All it takes is a small amount of brain power, and then you think about it. I just showed you, on the Wikipedia thing, how they grew. Rapidly. Yeah, that's a hyperbolic estimation, okay? Jesus fucking Christ. Are you gonna be a pedant as well as an idiot?
People and how it impacted the ability of my students to give their all in the classroom. That leads me to my second point. We need more working class socialists in office, but you don't have to start by running for office. I started out by campaigning for same-sex marriage in New York. I organized rallies for Black Lives Matter. I canvassed for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I worked on access to affordable housing with the Democratic Socialists of America. I wasn't new to these struggles. By the time I ran for office, I'd been fighting for years and I was part of a broader movement for justice. Movements are made up of activists and organizers, and the best campaigns are powered by people. You can do an incredible amount of good by working as a tenant organizer or contributing to unionization campaigns. Even though the media likes to focus on the big electoral victories.
Not really, that's why so many people joined the October Revolution. Even before the war, their lives were not really improving. They were fucking broke, they were being worked to death. That's what feudal lords did. The only people who were in a decent position were the nobility and the kulaks, because they were able to own property and slaves. That's it. The average person lived in fucking shit. So again, their economy grew really fast under fucking Lenin and Stalin. Way faster than any other country on the fucking planet. Any of them. On top of that, for the average worker, their lives improved. They did. Also, something that I'm pretty sure you were overlooking. Well, for one, this right here, Germany predicted it would be unable to win a war against Russia by 1917. That has nothing to do with growth. React, Andy. No, I'm just watching this video. Okay, that may be hyperbolic, but not really. Wage slaves. Okay, is that better?
Victories, the real progress comes from thousands of small victories fought for by people you might never hear about. Over 1,000 people volunteered on my campaign for state senate, and they are the reason we won. If you do want to run for office,
duh. Women have been oppressed under patriarchal systems since, like, for fucking ever, my guy. Duh. That's obvious. But even then, because the conditions of their husbands improved, they were better off. Overall. So shut the fuck up, what are you talking about? God damn.
consider where you are most needed. There are a ton of really important positions in local or state politics that don't get as much attention as Senate or congressional races, but are incredibly influential. Judgeships, city or town council seats, state legislatures, school boards, positions at the county level. So much power is held in offices with elections that go uncontested. You'd be surprised how far you can go. Third, focus on the material.
Yes. Their lives were improving because they moved from serfdom towards industrial economy. Yes, that's... yeah, duh. That doesn't disprove my point at all. Are you lost?
Issues that shape the lives of your constituents. Socialism is about material change, helping people in real, tangible ways with programs and policies that ensure everyone has access to free healthcare, decent housing, and a good education. Don't run on technocratic tweaks. Be ambitious. Campaign on systems that ensure people have what they need to survive and thrive.
Men's pay was barely cut to allow women to come in to make equal to what men were. So overall, their fucking lives improved. No. No, it didn't. There were still serfs before the October Revolution. Holy fuck. That's why Lenin wrote about the serfs. That's why Lenin wrote about the kulaks. Oh my god.
Talk about the issues you've experienced in your community. Is rent too expensive? Do nurses and doctors not have enough funding? Do local schools not have enough money? Socialism is also about power. Who has it? and who doesn't. That's why socialist candidates need to run on structural solutions, finding ways to bring power back to ordinary people. Talk with people in your community every day about the problems they face and the future you want to build together. Your single biggest advantage is your community. And fourth, if you lose, don't be afraid to try again. In 2017, I ran for city council and came up short. It was tough. But a few years later, I tried again, running for state senate and won. So don't be discouraged if you don't win. In 2018, Cori Bush ran for Congress in St. Louis and lost to a 20-year incumbent. 2 years later, she came back and won. Socialists are winning elections because we're focused on creating a system that works for everyone, and because we recognize that the system today is designed to benefit only a small, wealthy minority.
And yet they still had to give up pretty much all of their shit to their lord, who gave up some of that to the Tsar. It's almost as if it wasn't any different, really, except they got to still work the land. There was no distinction between them.
Minority. Socialists are winning because we're building power by working together, day after day. And people across the country are on board. No matter where you live, there are people all around you eager for change and seeking practical, tangible solutions to the injustices they face. So my last piece of advice is this. Remember that you are not alone. If you're thinking about running for office as a socialist, look for other organizing groups in your area and online. Together, we can create a better society, one that works for all of us. I'm Jabari Brisport, New York State Senator for the Gravel Institute.
Okay. Cool. Let's see what's going on here.
35 U.S. Capitol police officers are being investigated for their actions during the January 6th riot at the Capitol, according to a police department statement released Friday, while 6 have been suspended without pay. 5 people, including a Capitol police officer, died in the violence when throngs of former President Donald Trump's supporters attacked the Capitol, overpowering security forces. 2 law enforcement officers later committed suicide. Investigators have been looking into the response by the Capitol police officers and whether any of the officers may have aided the rioters. Just days after the attack,
Well, duh. That's obvious that they did.
it was disclosed that 2 officers had been suspended, according to Democratic Representative Tim Ryan. One had taken a selfie with a protester, while another wore a Trump-supporting hat and was directing protesters around the building, Ryan told reporters. It was unclear whether the 2 were among the 35 now being investigated, or whether they were trying to quell the crowd by establishing personal contact with rioters. The protesters stormed Capitol Hill shortly after Trump addressed a crowd near the White House, just as lawmakers were preparing to formally certify Joe
Got a phone
Biden's
call.
election victory. A U.S. House of Representatives panel has scheduled a hearing on February 25th to look into the Capitol's security failures. Acting Police Chief Yogananda Pittman and Acting House Sergeant-at-Arms Timothy Blodgett are scheduled to testify.
Okay, and we're back. Jesus Christ. Manchin's gonna vote no on the budget nomination. Near Tandon, of course. Good. Get her the fuck out. I'm actually okay with that. Maybe I went a little too hard on that guy. Sorry, that guy. Day has been an absolute shit day for me. I may have taken it out a little hard on you. But it does not help that you argue against, like, actual measurements and shit. Fuck it. 51 minutes. Alright, that should be one. No, I don't care. We'll just close this out entirely. Because it should maintain having this up here. Reply to the Discord. Let's go ahead and we're gonna swap over to some magic. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a quick break. You know? Today's been very stressful. Again, I'm sorry, Nijira, for going real rude on you. That was uncalled for. And oh yeah, I'm drinking. I appreciate you having stopped in. Actually, I appreciate both of you having stopped in. All right, we're back. I feel bad now about you calling this guy an idiot. Well, nothing I can do about that now. Left an ally on the table because I'm not that smart. Okay, well, I think I could actually... Oh. I can, remove that for now because I have this. How dare you threaten me with a good ass time. Let's go. Done.
I might get there eventually.
Alright. So, segment. Yeah. So what we gotta do is figure out how to be more effective politically. It's a challenge. I know. I know. But as it stands, we're awful at it. We are fucking terrible as leftists. Generally speaking, getting what we need, getting what we want, doing anything. It's really, really disappointing. Like, extraordinarily so. So how do we fix it? Well, yeah, okay. I'm just doing a segment. Okay, cool. So, how do we become more effective politically? Well, there's a couple different ways we could do it, really. But mostly, I think it's a split-pronged approach. So what we do is we get those who are charismatic, able to be effective rhetorically, good at debate. We get them to run for office if they have the motivation to do so. Then we have the people who don't have an interest in actively being part of, like, electoral politics. We get them to to do direct action. That's the big thing. Direct action. On the ground, work. Now, direct action, sometimes people think that it's just like going out and fighting or whatever. No. No, 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 no. You can do direct action in a bunch of ways. For example, you can set up a kind of like a food drive thing. You know, cool. Now they're gonna counter this. They're just gonna kill it. Okay. I'll take that out of their fucking hand. What weirdness are they in? Anyways, so with a direct action on the ground kind of work, yeah, you can do mutual aid, food drives, and shit like that to try and help people who are needy. You can try and organize like getting together to make some community housing or something, or you know, something. I don't fucking know. I don't know the legality of doing that, but there's options for people to do. Alright. Target a creature. Beat the fuck out of this person. Alright. With the people who are going to run for office as a leftist, you can't be stupid, and we can't have people who are leftists coming out there against being pragmatic. Okay? If they're making some concessions on some things to get concessions on some other things, that's not a bad thing. Please don't be dumb. Like, please.
One more secret unlocked.
I don't know exactly what's coming up there. Boom. I have more life. I swing. I deal 3 damage. Take you down to 2, and if you can't stop me next turn, I win. For example, one of the problems I see is people trying to shit on Bernie Sanders for being smart and effective and getting concessions. I win. It's pretty common with this deck. And my life. I'm kidding. I suck at life. But yeah, I was on looking on Facebook, which I honestly fucking hate Facebook these days. But scrolling through there, I see people trying to shit on Bernie Sanders for supporting that $15 an hour minimum wage bill. I legitimately saw somebody in there who said $15 an hour started over 10 years ago. It wasn't enough then, it's not enough now. We need a fight for 50. To which my reply was, and you wonder why people say the left doesn't understand economics. But that's brain dead. I'll be able to cast a Jace. I'll get there eventually. So, that is a case of not being politically effective. When you come out and say dumbass shit, like, we need a $50 an hour minimum wage now. I'm sorry. Do you understand the most basic thing, most basic principles of economics? Because one of those is the disemployment effect. So, again, if you're gonna say stupid shit like that, and somebody comes out and points out that that's not viable, and yes, the minimum wage should be $23 an hour currently, if wages had kept pace with productivity, but that didn't happen. That's not the case, and so you kind of have to follow economic principles to not get fucking massacred. By massacred, I mean economically. Get that shit out of here. Are you gonna banishing light my fucking banishing light? Okay. That's fine. This is awful. Okay. Well, I guess in this case, I play the temple. I take the chariot. I play Nahiri. And I
After 1,000
put a
years,
core
I
onto the
can
battlefield.
finally embrace my home again. We will survive this crisis.
Anyways, I think that'll be it for this segment, because there's not much more I can say about it. If you don't understand that arguing for stupid shit against that would literally ruin the economy of the country because you proposed a bunch of stupid shit, I can't help you. That's just on you. And I know there's some people out there who were like $25 today, and that's not possible.
You're a nuisance.
It's just not. It's really not. Could the Biden policy work faster? Yes. I do firmly believe that that's the case. If I just play this right here, plus that right there.
The core empire will rise again.
What you got?
I don't observe unjust rules. We fight well together.
If I get a Ruinous Ultimatum, eventually I'll turn this around. Yes, I'm super happy I figured out how to bring Discord onto the stream. Oh, okay. I'm gonna take 4 damage here. Or they're gonna kill Nahiri or Nico Aris. It'd be smarter for them to just hit me. Ah, shit.
Maybe I used the wrong approach.
Ah, shit. Okay, I don't care. I wanted the shards more than anything.
That's new for me.
Uh... Let's go with kick to Jace.
Be better tomorrow than you were today. Control. I see how all this connects now.
Hmm. I only have 2 mana available to me. That'll probably be fine.
Solving mysteries is
Yeah, that's
my
fine.
specialty.
That's a stabilizing factor. Pass turn. Go ahead and just draw the Elspeth. I'll make that trade any day of the week.
Oh no.
I don't have enough white mana. I only have the 2. I can only choose one of them. But I can play out the Essicas. I'll draw a white source eventually. I do need to get a black source out. Play the Merriment. Play the Chariot. Scry.
I have a lot to think about.
Draw.
Now here's an interesting idea.
Pass turn. So something we gotta realize, everybody, is we're pretty fucking weak at the moment. As far as like what we can accomplish.
What a refreshing thought.
Okay, that works for me. We'll play the Triumph. Keep that. We'll go ahead and just draw the Forest.
Oh, this is genius.
I can do both this turn.
Time is fragile, yet it chews through the strongest metal.
Prepare yourself, Heliod. I have killed one god. Together, we can exact justice.
Ideas, like seconds, are fleeting.
Oh yeah.
most challenging puzzle. Every problem has a solution.
No thank you. I need solutions. Oh. That's a problem. No. I don't think so. What we need to do, everybody, is build up the online left. We need to work together in our communities and make things good. Actually, let me scry too.
Every thought matters.
I want to keep the OG around. I'll get rid of the...
Ah, here's a new piece to the puzzle.
I do love a good puzzle.
At least I look like I know what I'm doing.
Next. Next. Swing, swing. Like a rockin' machine.
I need to protect as many people as
You gonna
possible.
block with your Vega?
I believe we will find a better tomorrow.
Knowledge.
Do I
is
need
a
the island? I
skeleton
got
key.
1, 2... 2 blue. Is there any reason to have any more than 2 blue? No. That and I have all the lands that I need. Can you do it? Can you actually kill me? You probably shouldn't swing, friend. You're dead. Fine. Kill him, I don't care.
It's good to learn
I'll
from
just
your
come back
failures.
yesterday.
Alright. Yay. We did it. Almost to silver tier 3. How long has this been going? Hour and 24 minutes? Okay. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna do this today. But, you know, maybe tomorrow. Not like anybody's actually even watching me right now. Oh, jeez. I don't know. I don't have any money right now. Got sent a link to donate something. But yeah, I mean, maybe if somebody actually was watching this, it would be a different matter. But, yeah, I ran off my viewer. I don't know. God damn it. I had to post my apology to Twitter, just in case they randomly were on there. Because I feel bad. When somebody comes into my stream chat and starts talking positively about fucking capitalism on a day where I had a really shit day, I lose it. Or at least I did. Nothing too bad. I called him a dipshit, an idiot. I just went a little too hard on him on that front. I didn't, like, denigrate him, his personal ability. Well, I guess I kind of did. But I didn't do anything, like, super bad. I did call him an idiot a lot, though, and I feel bad for that. He was trying to have a good faith discussion on it. I mean, one of the things that dude said, just for context, up here. Capitalism won the Cold War because it's so efficient. Every successful state has been capitalist. Not true. Capitalism didn't win the Cold War. A capitalist country won the Cold War. There is a distinction. This is stupid. Oh, and this is how he came in. I hope it wasn't Professor Best who was on. But, yeah, this is how dude came into my fucking chat. This guy is completely dumb. And then I asked if he was from Twitter because I told people to come and roast me. He's like, no. And then this shit, and this shit, which is untrue. I made a hyperbolic statement. Starting to feel like it might have been this guy. It might have been this guy that is following me on Twitter. But, I mean, this right here. That's literally the beginning of this. And then there's this nonsensical bit. Germany predicted that what does this have to do with it would be unable to win a war against Russia by 1917, and then goes into the growth under Alexander II and Nicholas II was exponential, regardless of who was in charge. The empire, it would have grown similarly, and that's just not entirely true. Because, as is evidenced, the USSR grew way faster than Tsarist Russia had hoped to grow. And then by 1881, 85% of serfs owned the land they worked on, but they still had to contribute most of their labor to their lord, which then had to contribute some of that to the Tsar. So it was still serfdom. They just weren't beholden under different... there was different land thing going on. And they got moved up into kulak status, essentially. Except not really, because they were still getting exploited. So, that's the context in which this came into being. They came in and just said that I'm completely dumb, and I'm sorry, but I checked my shit. Some things I may misinterpret. I may not know the full context of every single little bit. Context matters, but I mean, but my day was pretty fucking shitty. But let's keep that in mind as well. Not that the viewer added onto the antagonism and I snapped at the viewer. But they're not entirely right when they say this shit. Now, the 150, I did say something about, like, that it grew 150 times faster than Tsarist Russia ever would, but that's a thing, you know. So, I think we're good here, actually. It was a shitty day. I may be back on later tonight. Kind of depends. So, I truly hope that you guys have a wonderful night. And I will see y'all later. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, like, subscribe, do all that shit, you know. The usual. I'll leave you guys with